Alright, so I picked up this DK Sprinter Mini on Facebook Marketplace for $100. Had to drive out to Bend to get it. It was a nice little 5-hour drive through the mountains. No big deal. Pretty enjoyable drive. Already got a little head start on rebuilding it because I needed to make sure we got the bottom bracket. It came with some caged ball bearings that were feeling pretty rough, and we got a nice sealed cartridge. What is this? Shimano BBUN 300. It's a 63 millimeter case with a 113 millimeter axle. Hopefully that fits. We also got some cranks and some brakes and some pedals and some spoke nipples. One of the big issues that we're gonna run into with this one is pulling this dent from the front wheel. I don't even know where it is now. It's pretty small. Maybe it's on the other side. I don't know, we'll get to that. It's not a big deal. I have my own method of doing it with C-clamp. So we're gonna clean it up and replace a whole bunch of parts. We got a freewheel, we got a chain, we got brakes, we got all sorts of stuff. So let's dig in and get started. First, we need to get this chain off. I realized that, I don't know if that's actually showing up, but I broke the little nipple off of this chain tool trying to remove and replace a Shadow Conspiracy half-link chain. Now I have the right tool for that, but I don't think it's going to work on this. We can try. I don't know why it wouldn't actually, but and here's somebody out there doing something. Well, that worked just fine. This chain's garbage. There we go. Chain's off. All right, here's that little dent in the front wheel. That's my main concern with this bike, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on that. What am I doing? We already pulled these wheels off and filled the hubs with grease. They got a lot smoother. They're not where I want them to be. I'm gonna pull all the bearings out and use some high grit sandpaper to kind of smooth out the hub and then replace the bearings with brand new ones. All right, so let's pull out these bearings. Put everything in one of these lids for a pickle jar. Seems the whole bearing's pretty good. And again, I like to just remove one side and leave the other side so we have a good idea of how the axles should be spaced. Nice bunch of bearings on there. It's a real mess because we packed it full of grease. Okay, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Double checked. 10 bearings in there. We've got a whole bunch of bearings in here. Should be no big deal. So now we're just removing all the grease. So it really doesn't feel that bad. There's a little bit of a lip around the edge and a little bit of the lip on the inside. We're just going to try and use a little bit of sandpaper to smooth that out. May even just try steel wool. I think that actually did the trick. Feels pretty smooth. And we'll do the same to these cones. Get all the grease out of there. Hit it with a little steel wool. Alright, so it's probably hard to see. There's no pitting. There's no rough spots. Seems good. And you can see that the edges are a little rough, but that's not going to matter. What we want is for this to be super smooth and for the cone to be super smooth. And they are, so let's pack it back with some bearings and grease. Alright, measuring the bearings, make sure we get the right one. And the new bearing. There we go. Let's put a little grease in there. Put a lot of grease in there. 10 of these balls. All right, fumble, fumble, fumble. Loose bearings are great. Should be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Slide that cone back in there. Slide the axle in. We got plenty of grease. I think we're good there. Flip it. Do the same on the other side. Clean cone. There's so much grease on there that we don't need to, yeah, we may as well. Let's put a little bit in the cone. Especially on these old bikes. I just use too much grease. It's okay. I think it helps a little bit. It may not. It might be just wasting grease, but I'm buying cheap grease from AutoZone. I'm not using anything fancy. Just nice marine grease. That's much better. Much better. Tighten that up. A little bit of play, just a tiny amount. All right, the next issue on this wheel, I don't even know if we can find it without putting too much air in it. There was a bubble in the tire. So we're gonna get that off. And then we're gonna pull that dent. We're not gonna do anything about the shitty paint job that they put on it. I don't know if you can see on the rim, there's just a really, really bad paint job. You can see right here especially. I should sand that. I'm not going to. It's gonna be fine. It just doesn't look the best. All right, so one by one we're gonna replace these spoke nipples. I'm gonna use a drill to get them off. That's the wrong way to do it. But it does make it a little quicker. I'm not gonna relace the whole thing, start over from scratch. We're just doing a little cosmetic upgrade for a 5-year-old. It is really disappointing that DK makes I mean, I'm kind of new to BMX, to be honest. I've been riding bikes for 20 years. I mean, pedicabbing was my job for basically 17 years. I had, you know, some years off for injury and things like that. But basically for 17 years, that's all I did. If you can see the little red spoke nipples. I'm just gonna do that 36 times. Okay, and as we retighten, I'm gonna be using the gauge. Let's see, that's 22 and a half. $21. So we're just going to try and get them all just about 22. And then we'll true it, tension them properly. This is just a starting point. It's a little bit much. There we go, 22 and a half. This is the cheapest tensioner on Amazon, so probably not the most accurate, but if we can keep it pretty close, we won't have much hop. I do like running a higher tension in my spokes than most people. I worked at this repair shop, or I worked at this rental shop for a long time where the wheels were some single wall garbage like this, and every time a bike got rented out, I had to true the wheels over and over, and I got real good at doing it without taking the wheels off the bike. I'm just doing it in the dropouts, using the brake pads and the barrel adjuster on the front to kind of use as a guide. You know, tighten up the brakes with the barrel adjuster until they don't rub, tighten it some more, true it till they don't rub. That was really, it kind of backfired, I guess. One of the other guys that worked at the shop got real mad at me because all I would ever do was tension them. But when they got too tight and a spoke nipple broke, I would replace the spoke nipple, reduce the tension throughout the whole wheel, and start over again. I mean, they lasted a little bit longer tight than loose. I was kind of editing while I replaced the spoke nipples. I didn't actually capture how I pulled this din out. All I did really was take my biggest crescent wrench and just gently bend it out. And then I went to check. And then I checked to see how far I was off with some sandpaper. You can see there's a little high spot, a little low spot. It looks like it'll hold a tire, so we're gonna call that good. The nipples replaced. Now it's time for the tedium. It's probably as good as it needs to be. All right, next we'll find out if our wheel repair will hold a tire. Really nice tires here. Kind of an old bike. Not the latest and greatest. These tan walls will kind of be cool looking. Plus it matches Dad's bike. I guess rotation doesn't matter on the front wheel. We'll put it on however it says. I guess we could have used the old tubes, but whatever. You watch me do this the worst way possible. I don't know why I'm not myself in front of a camera. I guess that's pretty common. There's a name for that I can't think of right now. Alright, let's see if it'll hold air. Just want to record this in case we have a sidewall failure. Everything seems to be seated pretty good. We're only at 15 pounds. I don't know how much pressure these single wall rims will hold. I'm pretty sure these tires will hold 100. It's 110 PSI. Cheap Amazon wheel truing stand and tensioner seem to work out pretty well. I really wish I could afford something nicer, but I guess it's lunchtime. Big dude some lunch. I'm just gonna set these to 80. It doesn't look like we're having a sidewall failure. Put the valve stem cap on. Some people think that's what holds the air in. It's totally not, but I don't want to hear about it, so. All right. Front wheel finished. Put that wheel back on and then we'll get started on the back wheel. Rotation. Okay, it just says rotation. There's no arrow. What? It just says rotation. It doesn't say which direction. It doesn't really look like it's a directional pattern. So we're just going to put the side that's lined up with the valve on the drive side and call that good. And that's the side of the bike you take pictures of, so. And we already cleaned this bike as well as we could. We spent a few hours on the front porch scrubbing it down. That's, you know, it's an old used bike. It was $100. That's as good as it's going to get, and that's fine. I'm going to repeat that process with the rear wheel. Take this freewheel off of there and put something else a little nicer on. Go ahead and disconnect these brakes. Time to do the back wheel. Of course, the first thing we need to do with the back wheel is get this freewheel off of there. There we go. We got a nicer one. This feels like the cheapest freewheel. I don't know. It just feels like it's about to fall apart. And I had a very similar freewheel on a set of takeoff wheels that I bought from one of those new Haro Cruisers, probably like a wheelie bike type, you know, 26, 29, whatever. And it did explode, so we're gonna change this cheesy thing out. I don't even know. Pheasant brand? Bing Tyco, made in China. Well, all right, so we added grease when we got it, and we were cleaning it on the front porch. We pulled this apart, stuffed some lube in there. It feels good. We're not gonna replace the bearings and sand the races and all that. We're just gonna get this, we're just gonna get this tire off and replace these nipples real quick. True it up, put on the new freewheel, new tire, and keep on moving. We got a race at 5:30 and it's 1:15 now, so we gotta start getting going. Spokes are red, time to true. All right, well, the wheel is round and true. So I'm gonna replace that freewheel with something nicer. Got this red one. Not cheap. Don't really have to go too tight with it because every time he pedals, it will get tighter. We'll give it a little bit of Is this a different freewheel tool? No, it works. All right. Theory rattlesnake. Nice. I'm reusing one of the old tubes this time. Those things are expensive right now. There's no need to just waste one like that. All right. Pump it up and put it on. All right. Seems like this bike was exceptionally hard to get the back wheel straight. I got these MCS tensioners. Hopefully that will solve our problems. Okay, it's not that small. What's up, dude?
Hi, Daddy.
Our little racer had some business he needed me to attend to. All right. Let's get the other side on real quick. All right, let's put this bottom bracket in. Okay.
Wee.
Okay, well, let's see how this bottom bracket works out. It's kind of a conversion, but not really. All right, I think this is gonna work. If I can stop dropping things, it's gonna work even better. All right, bottom bracket's in. Now neither the bottom bracket nor the crankset came with crank bolts, so we're gonna try and see if we have some laying around. Let me start looking. It's kind of a budget build, so we didn't get a new chain ring. Try and reuse this one. Should be just fine. God, broke that one loose and it smells like a fire in here. That's crazy friction. They're 140s. We're gonna switch over to these 125s. I think that'll help him. It's a tighter Q factor and be easier for him to stand up with a shorter crank. Standing up and pedaling, especially when you're just a brand new 5-year-old, is pretty tricky. He's been riding for almost 3 years on pedals, but it's still pretty tricky.
You mean the big dude cranks?
Well, they're called Little Dude cranks. That's the name of the company.
But they're all big kid cranks?
Yeah. See how these fit. Well, it's not that big a deal, but for the price, these cranks should have come with the dust cover and the crank bolt. These aren't the right dust covers. These came on it. They look kind of shitty, actually. I don't know if that's what we want to do. I don't know. Let's take them back off. That's, oh, of course. Looks better without them. It'd be cool to paint these white, just to go with the color scheme. To finish it off, we have these nice Spider-Man cranks, nice Spider-Man pedals. They got dropped and it's a little bit of a flat spot, but I had to file right there. I don't know if it's visible. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to put those in there. All right, so put them in these 145 or the 140s we took off. Oh, okay, drop it again. Well, it screws in those nicely. Those are some low quality cheap cranks though. Tightens up, everything feels good. God, those are really nice pedals. Oof, I'm kind of nervous about this. It's smooth. It's not stripping. It's a tight fit, but it's not stripping. There's no metal coming out. In this awkward position, I definitely can't over torque it, so think we're good. Spider-Man's. Time to put the chain on. See if the original chain will work with this freewheel. It works back there. Okay, so we went with an 1/8 inch chain. Rattlesnake sounds cool. Everything fits nicely. Next, we're on to the brakes. Nothing special about brake removal. Gotta hang on to all this stuff. You never know when you're gonna need it again. Oh, that feels horrible. Well, that's not what you want to have happen. The whole post came out with the brake. That's really not cool. So let's figure that out. Get this post off of this bolt. All right, I stole one from another bike. Let's hope it fits. It looks like it's gonna work. See if the new brakes fit on there. Okay. All right, we got it. Cool. Just stole one off an old mountain bike that I have in the backyard that I keep meaning to rebuild and sell, and then I don't actually ever get around to it. Brakes are on. That looks like it's gonna work. Let's go ahead and put those bolts in. Both on there. Starting to come together. Looking pretty good. Time to get this front brake on. Use this greasy thing. I know, it's real easy with the air compressor. Okay. Really cutting it close. We got to get out there and race real soon. Got about an hour left. Spent all day messing with this. I knew the wheels were going to take a long time. Because they're wheels. It's pretty easy to see where the brake was. This gold cable looks cool, but it's kind of a waste. The tandem length cable. Hey Arthur, where'd you put that screwdriver, buddy?
Daddy,
The screwdriver.
what? Daddy,
I just needed this grease bud.
it's fine.
I got it. Let's fumble with this because I'm in a hurry. First, we'll just put it, clean up a little bit, de-stress. We're pretty much there. The headset's all loose, and it's kind of, I mean, I wish the headset was bad. I'd love to replace it with the red one. All this is loose. I'm just gonna try and throw a red spacer in there. See if that makes it look a little bit better. It's just kind of red heavy on the back and plain up front. I can get a red valve stem cap, or a red stem cap and a red bolt kit for this to kind of dress it up a little bit. Fork's gonna fall on the ground. Can we get away with? This is a 1 inch and I'm using 1 1/8 inches. Yeah, we can do that. That helps a little bit. Yeah, we turned his 4 kid bikes into his new Mini. I didn't make videos on 2 of the 4 bikes that I sold. I don't know. I think that's ready to go. We just need to put the number plate on it. A little walk around. A nice bunch of red parts. Super cool.